to Athletics LLC with Lamar, Lucious, Big League Chew, and my man Clyde. You're about to be schooled in all things track and field. This is experience. Yes, sir. We are talking past, present, future. Y'all listen up. Let's go.
Happy Athletics LLC Day. We're back. Not so many different time zones this week, but we are still spread across the nation as usual, per usual. So welcome, midway through season 2. That's pretty crazy, almost midway through season 2. Joined by these other 3 lovely tiles. Sir Lucious, what tropical landings are you in right now, sir?
I'm back in Florida, so I'm good. I'm back in the Eastern time zone, so I'm good. Nice.
Clyde, how are you today, sir?
Living 1 hour at a time.
I mean, facts. I think I'm down to like a half hour, maybe 15 minutes at this point. Last but definitely not least, I'm going to get you when you put popcorn in your mouth, sir. Lamar, let's switch conferences, Huffins. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing much better than many people.
There you go. Great perspective. I like it. Well, lots and lots to talk about, lots to address, even per our viewers who have told us like they can't wait for this episode to happen. So let's just go ahead first and make a big splash. First, starting off with the World Junior Meet. I think it's, if I say this wrong, it's horrible. This is how not universal I am. Nairobi, did I say that right?
Yeah, Nairobi, Kenya.
You know, there was a lot to see, a lot to talk about. Crazy. I actually saw most of it through social media. I wasn't able to watch any of it. But gentlemen, can you allude to some of the things that you may have saw or what stuck out?
Well, I mean, the first thing that stuck out for me is, before we talk about any performances, is that the rest of the world's getting better, and the USA was sitting at home watching this happen.
Which I thought was a travesty.
Now, see,
Right.
okay. Now, see, yeah. I really wanted to, I thought y'all was going to go positive. See, I thought y'all were going to go positive, and then I was going to have to come in and be, you know, the wrecking ball at the end. But I guess we go there now. Okay, look. What stuck out to me is that we weren't there. And I don't understand why that is. Of course, someone will throw out, you know, COVID and blah, blah, blah. But I got news for you, audience. This isn't the first time we've ditched an international meet in Kenya. So I'm like, what is going on at the headquarters to where when the meets are in Kenya, we just can't go? I don't really understand, but we should have been there. We most definitely should have been there.
And to credit my man Lamar, who gets on top of his soapbox, I'm sure he is climbing that way as we speak. These meets are the proving grounds, the training grounds for the Worlds and the Olympics.
Yes.
And if you want to know why the rest of the world is catching up to us, this could be a big part of it. Because while everybody else's juniors were training and competing at a high level against high level competition, a lot of ours were competing against much less competition at Junior Olympic meets here on American soil.
Well, also a couple of our juniors were on the Olympic team, so I mean,
yeah, that's true too.
There is that. But I just.
Oh, Lamar, we froze you we didn't freeze you. You froze.
Well, when he comes back in, stomping feet, we'll shut up, let him have the floor. But in all seriousness, oh, he's back. You were saying, sir.
What I was trying to say before my wonderful internet decided to do what it does is that this is the one meet that we should probably never boycott. We should never not go, because again, like the Olympics, like you can't get these experiences back. And if you don't go to World Juniors, but you're capable of, that means you got to cut your World Junior teeth at the major international level, and that's not fair. You know, like we send these people to World Championships or Olympics expecting them to do well and get medals, and then if they didn't go to World Juniors and they didn't go through the call room process and they didn't go through, like, you know, the baby Olympics, like it's a thing. Like, what's that expression? You got to have experiences to be experienced.
That's right. Well, listen, I'm here in America, and shout out to Peacock, because on the Peacock network, if you have it, you can go watch the whole World Juniors. And as a fan of international competitions and as a fan of records and all things, you know, like that.
And let me interrupt you also, and as a man that needs to recruit to do well in his job.
Yeah, you know, that, you know, I mean, there's that part.
Yeah,
you know, there's that part. But look, if you would have told me that in 2021 at the World Juniors, Brazil would take out the World Junior record in the 4x1, that might have been the single most amazing feat from the meet. And yes, I'm a sprint bias and 4x1 bias and all of that, but that record was really good. Oh, and by the way, it was ours. So, yes. You know what I mean? Like, Brazil it was 38.51.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, 38.51.
I mean, hey, listen, that props to Brazil, Team Brazil, like that. That's a phenomenal effort. The women's race was taken down as well. Go Jamaica.
42.94 by Jamrock. They got it done.
Right. So we got problems all around.
Yeah. You know, there's the French guy runs 13.72 in the hurdles.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and for the record, that's not the world record because it's only 39-inch hurdles. But no one cares.
Exactly. 13.72
really
over 39-inch barriers.
Well, 72.
Yeah. Well, my bad. 12.72. I'm sorry. 12.72. I apologize.
People to understand, he ran
12.72. Yeah, 12.72. Yeah.
So
I mean, you got to watch that video. That kid is just clean.
Yes.
He knows how to hurdle.
The rhythm is outstanding.
The French athletes usually, you know, are developed really well from a technical perspective in the hurdles, and that kid is all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I had seen someone on the internet, just being petty for a second, not me, but try to discredit his 12.72 because they were at 39. I was like, that's just fast. Like, you can't discredit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I don't think people. I'm sure there were Twitter idiots trying to discredit, but at least here, when it was first posted, they didn't do a great job. They didn't post it as World Junior record. They posted it World Record.
Oh.
And everybody was like, "Wait, what? He did what?" And you know, a lot of people, casual fans, don't realize that the hurdles are a different height at the World Juniors. So there was a few hours where it was up for debate if he actually broke the world record. I'm like, no, it's 39s, but still, that's ridiculously fast.
Right.
I mean, put it like this: we all know from a high school perspective, right, that Ronaldo Nehemiah, the 13 flat, like everybody understands that.
12.9.
12.9.
Yeah. Hand time.
He put that apart.
Yeah, he did.
Like,
gap. Folks, let's put this in perspective. The math has always been 0.24 from hand time to electronic. That's 12.5.
Yeah.
Right. It's actually 12.48. So I'm just saying. My public math skills are pretty good. 12.48. Yeah. And then was it Botswanan or something? Who ran 45 flat in the quarter? You know?
Oh, I'm gonna get that wrong. I feel like it was Botswana.
I feel like it was, but I can't remember. I'm gonna look.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mo Satara, his incoming signee to Cal Berkeley won the discus in a new championship record of 69.81 in the disc.
That's really, and was that male or female?
Male.
Okay, and I know that's with the middle discus, right? Like there's the international, the high school, and the middle one.
Yeah.
I don't care. That's almost 70 meters, folks.
I mean,
that's a long way.
Like the World Juniors, you know, the junior competitions that we've been doing lately, as you know, we somehow always find our way to our hemisphere for the juniors, the Pan Ams. And the Pan Ams are cool, and it's an international meet, and it's a good experience, but the World Juniors is the baby Olympics. Like, that's what it is. And the fact that we are not doing it all the time is just not smart. It's just bad business. I really don't understand why that's happening.
No, I don't either. I don't know who did it either, but somebody 143 won the 800 on the men's side, and it was just a plethora of phenomenal performances across the board. And I'm gonna go back to my initial comment, and we weren't there to be a part of it. That's the biggest concern for me.
And if you're an NCAA fan, understand a lot of these people are coming into the system.
Yeah,
I mean, shout out to Gabe Sanders at Boston University. He has the world 100-meter champion, the world junior 100-meter champion coming to Boston University. Like, these people are gonna be here racing. So I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah, I think there's two of the Nigerians that were there coming to Baylor this year. So
yeah. If I'm not mistaken, the 200-meter champion ran. The 200-meter champion is going to Stanford, if I'm not mistaken.
From the guy side.
Men's 200 meters from Nigeria is going to Stanford.
Right. And then what the young lady run 21.8?
Yeah.
But
that's crazy.
we were sitting at home watching it on Peacock.
I absolutely was.
When we could have been there participating in it, but like I said, I'm gonna give my shout out to my man Lamar. Let's switch conferences. Who said this from the beginning when he heard we weren't sending a team? It's a travesty, and it's gonna hurt us down the road. It will.
So the 400-meter runner is from Botswana. His name is Anthony Pasela. If I said that wrong, sorry. But yeah.
Anthony got it done. All I know, his last 100, he was flying. But if you watch Botswana, see, there's a couple of countries that people need to pay attention to. One, somebody's coaching in Italy. You figure that out, right? Okay. Somebody's clearly coaching in Brazil, and somebody is coaching in Poland, right? And has been for a while. And now somebody's coaching in Botswana, because it's not just crazy dude anymore, right?
Yeah, right. Everybody thought it was just Makwala.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah,
no.
not just crazy guy. Yeah.
Like after the Olympics, I said, look, shout out to Botswana because they got a medal in the 4x4 and they ran Makwala first.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, they did.
See, and the funny thing was, like, we're back there in the warm period watching it on the video in the preliminary, and somebody's like, why is Botswana still so close to us going into the third leg? I'm like, because they're running fast. It's not like we're running slow. And then when the clock stopped and we were 57 and they were 58, same thing in the final. They ran 257. Nobody knows because we ran 255, right? There's some people out there coaching, and we better wake up and smell the coffee. Okay, look, you know me, I've been hanging around my people. I'm gonna start speaking my mind, right? We better wake up and understand that the elder statesmen of this sport in the United States have been getting most of the medals. The John Smiths and Bobby Kersey's and Clyde Harts and those people that have been getting the medals for years and years, they're on the way out. So some of you young folks that want to be on the internet running your mouth about what should be, you better step up and start filling these shoes. Because if you don't, guess what's going to happen? We're going to keep getting our tail kicked.
Yeah.
It's going to get closer and closer. So as my
Because,
man
like,
Dwayne Ross said, get out of your cushy chairs and let's get to work.
If
Oh, Lamar.
This man, Chew, what you
I-
got to say? Lamar ain't get nothing in tonight.
I know, nothing. Well, what I was going to say was, and it's been repeated a number of times just in this segment in itself, but weeks back we said it. And at this point, like, if you're not hearing this, please hear this clearly. The world is getting better. We are not sucking. The world is getting better. So it's not anything that we have to like necessarily change. We just have to do better.
Well, so but see, I disagree. That requires change.
Well, okay, yes, it does, because we can't be complacent anymore. We can't assume
Right,
that
that's
we
what
can
it
just.
is.
See,
we can't be complacent.
Clyde said it last week and probably the week before, and I'm gonna say it this week, so he didn't have to. We have to get rid of the American arrogance.
Yeah.
The arrogance has to stop. When the arrogance stops, I mean, it's happened before. Like we got beaten the 4x4. They took the long jump record from us. Then we fight back, right? Like remember when the French beat us in the when they broke the world record in the 4x1, and Carl and Leroy and Dennis, those guys, like, no, we're not having that, and they smashed them, right? But we need that kind of reaction from the athletes and the coaches here in the United States. We do.
That's right.
We do.
And not to be reactionary anymore. We have to chomp when we chomp.
Exactly.
We're not nibbling. So, yeah. Lamar, would you like to get to?
Am I unfrozen?
Well, at least we
No,
can hear you.
At least we can hear you. We can.
Yeah.
I just junior results 2000.
Lamar, let me ask you this.
Can you hear me?
Is it your ear positive causing the problem?
He doesn't have them in.
I don't believe
He has one in, doesn't he?
I do have one in.
Oh, I see it.
Take those out. Take those out and send Brooks Johnson back downstairs where he belongs. Because you got that Brooks Wi-Fi right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're fine.
I don't know what's going on because the Wi-Fi's been spectacular all day.
Turn off your picture, turn your camera off, and let's see if your audio becomes better.
We actually would like to hear your thoughts. We don't always have to look at you.
we see your beautiful face.
Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Tremendous. Well, what? Can you hear me or not?
Yeah.
You're loud and clear.
Okay. Well, whatever. I probably look better this way anyway.
You said it.
The basic thing I've been trying to say is just that if you look at the results from this World Juniors, because as I've said before, our team was so young. 2024 looks like 2024 looks like the year of the U.S. Like we may win more medals than we ever won in our lives. But 2028 looks like we got hell to pay.
At home.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
and
God,
we got hell to pay at home.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, look, this isn't hard to plan out. Right? Like we shouldn't, based on the size of the country and the resources, we shouldn't have these negative issues to like, oh, well, it's in Kenya. Okay, well, if everybody else,
We were so close.
I feel like what he said right there is, if anybody can afford to go to Kenya for the meet, it'd be us.
I think what he said was, if everybody else can figure it out, we should be able to as well.
Yeah, both those things.
And he's correct. He's absolutely correct.
Yes. Oh, I saw a little bit of a head nod. All right. Well, we'll get that figured out for you, Mr. Lamar. Let's switch gears a little bit. There was a press release that came out yesterday in regards to collegiate conference alignments. And outside of the alignments of the Big 12, Pac-10, SEC, all the major conferences, the Autonomous Five have made a little bit of a Hogwarts alliance, and includes the Pac-12, Big 10,
ACC.
Dang it. I was like, it's on the East Coast and I can't think of the letters. And they have deemed it the Alliance Group. Who wants to chime in a little bit here?
I think we should leave the expert, our resident SEC great, to close this. I'm just gonna say this because I've been taking a lot of heat for a lot of years on the internet with my Team Chaos rants about the scorn and the tomfoolery that is the way collegiate athletics has been handling business and the favoritism that ESPN has been giving to the SEC ever since, you know, the invention of the BCS and all of this other stuff. I've been called a liar. I've been called a conspiracy theorist. I've been called so many things. And now we've come full circle where ESPN's, I'm not even mad at it. I just want people to be honest about it.
Yeah.
ESPN and the SEC been rocking together since the BCS was created, and it's gone very, very well for all involved. And the SEC has elevated themselves through this process. And now, out of, you know, survival of the fittest kind of mode, the Pac-12, the Big Ten, and the ACC have figured out, like, well, you know what? If ESPN isn't going to rock with us like that, we need to band together and kind of figure out, you know, how to play this game and battle, you know, how we need to battle. And it's smart. I don't know ultimately how it's all going to play out, but at least people are, you know, seeing, at least the fans and you know, people who watch the sports are now seeing just clear as day how real this business side of this whole game is, and how serious people are going to need to take it. So I don't know how it's all going to play out with the alliance, but it was about the smartest thing they could have done.
Well, I think it was an act of desperation because I think they saw the handwriting on the wall of where this thing is going. And I'm not sure this alliance is going to stop anything. I think it's just going to make it more interesting as it moves forward. You know, and the interesting for me with this is, like, I saw a piece that Mac Brown did. And I've always had a lot of respect for Mac Brown. I think he's always been a very level-headed guy. He makes a lot of sense, and plus he's a hell of a coach in my opinion. And what Mac talked about was, you know, an 8-team playoff. You know, that he thinks it's smarter to go from 4 teams to 8 teams. He thinks it definitely needs to be more than 4, as Clyde has been screaming from the rooftops since day one. And that, you know, while he doesn't want to see the Big 12 go away, it probably is. You know, it's going to end up somehow being 3 super conferences. And the thing that he said that he would like to see that really stuck well with me, and I think that Clyde would rock with this, is that you got the Power 5, the Autonomy 5, all the conference champions get in, right? And then the next 3 people in the poll or whatever, they decide to get in, because what he said that made a lot of sense to me was winning your conference has to mean something. And that stuck with me. I like that idea. If we're going to stick with the Autonomy 5, we find a way to keep 5 conferences, even if it becomes 4 conferences, right? If it's 4 conferences, let your conference champions get in, and then the next 4 teams that belong get in. And I think that cleans up a lot of stuff. I think it makes it a lot more sense. And I think it gets a lot more people involved. But again, I'm a Mac Brown fan. I really like what he had to say about that. I think that's a phenomenal idea. I don't know if it'll pass, but 12 teams is going to be a little murky, right? And with 12 teams, you have to imagine that the 5 conference champions have to get in for 12 teams. There's no way around it if that's the case.
Well, now see, that's I saw that clip from Mac Brown too, and obviously I applaud it, and it's great.
Oh, to tell the truth, you stood up and said, "Finally."
I mean,
you did.
Because
that had. I thought you called him and told him what to say.
Because here's the thing, it's like so much of the nonsense that swells around college football, the political pieces of it, right? It's all about people standing on soapboxes screaming. Well, there's nothing more important in the tradition than the fact that your conference championship is supposed to mean something. And it has been ESPN that has driven this narrative that no, only this conference's things mean something. And we've gotten away from that idea that all conference championships are supposed to mean something. So that's all I've ever been saying. Like, I don't care if you want to go 8, 12, Super 64, whatever it is, it has to start with the grind of winning your conference championship has to mean something. The one narrative about college football that I've always agreed with is that because of the way it's structured, it's the most exciting regular season in sports. Absolutely. The NBA regular season is boring, right? The NFL's is good, but it's not awesome. College football, every week, your life can end because of the structure. That doesn't change if you allow each conference champion a seat at the table, because now we're banging out this grind just so we know there's only one of us getting in and it's going to be the champ. So if you're going to crown a national champion, all the champions should be in. That's all. And if it takes Mac Brown to say it, props to him.
Yeah, I still think you called it and told him to say that. So, but Lamar, you want to try to chime in here? We'll give it a shot.
What I thought was most telling from the Mac Brown interview, the thing I took away from it that you guys haven't mentioned, is that he suggested that the group of 5 break off into their own league and have their own championships and their own award shows. And I thought somewhere around like episode 25 or so, I think that's what needs to happen, because that's what's killing the group of 5 other sports is they
We get a good 10, 15 seconds and then
that man just got to talk faster. So,
if Houston, can you hear?
Not really.
Not really.
Yes, no.
Oh. All right.
So, okay. I said something similar to this a long while back. It was in a different context. It was in the context of the HBCUs would all be really, really smart to go to Division II. And if they all did that, Division II would become this epic sporting arena. And they would dominate. And they'd have national championships to celebrate across the board. All kind of sports, right? And some people, saw that as disrespectful at the time. I was at Alabama State when I first said that. And I'm like, listen, man, I'm here. Like, I'm working. And I'm sorry. We're not playing the same game that Florida's playing. We're just not. The resources ain't the same. And I'm talking about, in a track and field setting, like we go to a regional or something, our kids have what they have and everybody else got what they got, and it's not the same level. It's not the same playing field. It's just not. So to bring it back to what Lamar was talking about, I agree. The G5s and what's left over from the Big 12 would do themselves a favor to look at the landscape and just be real about it and be like, hey, we can do better if we stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. Because it is what it is at this point.
Absolutely. And that's why I asked Lamar to speak to that, because I knew that was something that he's been driving home about the group of 5 being a separate. And I think, look, let's talk about what A&T did this past year in track and field. If A&T is in Division II, or they're in a group of 5 conversation with that, they're the national champions. They're not just get a trophy; they're the national champion.
And I really mean this, because when in 2013, when my teams at RU, my women's teams won the indoor and outdoor national championship, the people who were salty about it tried to throw shade and be like, yeah, but it's just Division II. I got news for you folks. The emotions of that, the celebration of it, what those young ladies went through to get it done, Nobody cared about Division II versus Division I versus nothing else. National championship was a national championship. Same thing at D3, same thing at NAIA, same thing at JUCO. Everybody has a lane. And if the power imbalance is so skewed, like A&T coming home with a trophy was an amazing feat. They came home with 2. An amazing feat. Houston almost pulled it off. They got Carl, they got Leroy, they have the state of Texas. They ain't got to move for their talent. They almost pulled it off. But a G5 situation, I'd love to see those kind of battles.
Oh yeah, Houston's got several gold trophies in their trophy case if there's a group of 5 discussion, right? Not even close. Not even close.
And it's track, right? So it's like it's not really that subjective. Like the times are the times, right? Randolph Ross will still be the #1 dude in the country, and I think that's where track fans like. That's where it's hard for us, right? Because it's not a team sport. It's individually in a lane, we're all equal. We can all race whoever, for sure. But in the team sports, I mean, come on.
But even in track, when it gets to a certain point, and I don't get me wrong, I think what Dwayne has done and is doing has been phenomenal. But how sustainable is it when he doesn't have the resources and the rest of them have, right? But if he's fighting against those people with the same resources he has, he could be a dominant figure for a very long time. And I'm not saying don't go run home. Lucious said A&T can't. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But what I'm saying is it's a lot easier to sustain what he's doing if he's playing the same game everybody else is playing with the same resources.
George Williams.
Exactly. Yeah.
George Williams in the Hall of Fame last time I checked.
Exactly.
Yep. And so I am sure there's going to be more news week in and week out about what happens the autonomous to the general 5 or to what we call the regular people.
Group of 5.
I mean, G5, the general group.
Get in there, Lamar.
General body.
Lamar, you've had a good picture for a minute. Get in there. Are you moving slow? You got to talk.
I mean, there's nothing to say that hasn't been said. Like the group of 5 championship should happen, period.
All right.
I think.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, see, you timed out.
Yeah.
You timed out on that one.
Well, I do want to make a suggestion. Because of the issues that Lamar's having, I think we should take our MH discussion off of the docket for tonight.
Yes.
Because I know he has a lot to say about that,
Yeah.
a lot of good things to say about that. I don't think it's fair that we discuss that and not be a part of it. And
Got it.
he's borrowed Brooks Johnson's video of internet for the so.
Fair enough.
They're sharing iPads.
Fair enough.
We love you, Brooks. We promise we do.
Oh yeah, we do. We do.
So before I segment to this next subject, let's talk about the coaching carousel, because again, whoever keeps putting frickin' quarters in, can you stop? Because at this point, it's not stopping until the winter break, and God knows what's going to happen.
Yes.
Like literally, it feels this way, right? So just some to mention. Again, if we forget you, it's nothing personal. It's either we haven't seen it yet, or we don't know the intricacies of everything that's happening. But the most notable right now, as we've seen that Adrian rounded out his associate head position with Agne Egger at Tulane. We've got Corey Holman, who's taken the jumps multis position at Ashland. One that I forgot last week, and I'm so sorry because this person actually is pretty close to me at this point. Adam Mangle is the new head cross country distance assistant at East Strasbourg. Brendan Hahn has taken his position, and is at Illinois. I apologize. I don't know why I stuttered on that one. Florida State has rounded out their staff with Doug Reynolds. Congratulations to Keith Roberts, who is now the director of track and field at Eastern Illinois. And last but definitely not least on my list, close to me because of what he did for us in Coaches Collab, Ball State has a new director of track and field and cross country, and that is Adrian Wheatley. So if you don't know where these people came from, you need to go Google that, because that's where the job is now.
Right?
Let's think about it like this. Doug Reynolds was at New Mexico State as the head coach. So the head coaching job, the director of track and field, it's open. Adrian Wheatley was the sprint coach at UNC, the University of North Carolina. That job is open.
Yeah.
So for those of you out there that, again, be proactive, get after it.
Mm-hmm.
I've known Adrian Wheatley for a long time now.
Yes.
And that was easily the shock of the week for me. But I know that's a move. Being in the chair is a move that he's, wanted and tried to pursue for a while now. So Adrian, my dude, props to you. Shocked the hell out of all of us. And I hope you rock with it, bro. Like I really, really do. Adrian is a good coach. He's a smart dude. And I'm very interested to see what he does with Ball State, because it's one of those situations where it's like, you put the right people in there, he could do something with that. He really could. And I know it's great for his family. So, hey man, congratulations.
Yeah, I'm a big Wheatley fan. Not only is he an Ohio boy, we're from the same city, so got to get it done, homie. If you need me, give me a call.
And look at Chew, you're right. At this pace, look, the convention this year is supposed to be in Florida, and since we all know Florida don't care about COVID, I'm sure it's going to go on out here.
Not all.
Not the university of, sir. The governor and all those things. So at this rate, you're going to have people changing jobs on the flight to the convention, because it's just changing. Like that's what's going to happen.
So crazy. I mean, I'll say, funny enough, like I interviewed at the convention a few years back, and I mean, that's a thing. And like, if not now, this is more than a thing. So crazy. Like you said, UNC is open. What the heck?
I don't know if y'all are going to hear this, but like Sir Lucious said, if Doug Reynolds left the head coaching position, that officially makes 6 jobs open.
Right.
Whether those people there know that or not, if they hire a new head coach, all those people may or may not be in the carousel.
So I'm just going to say this because I saw they announced the 3 new, 1 elevation, 2 new jobs at New Mexico the day before Doug Reynolds was announced at Florida State.
Mm.
So I was scratching my head like, I don't know if you should announce those. Like, I'm not sure if that was
so that was clearly a move of, these people are in these positions, so you better get that job. That's what that was.
Or that was telling whoever applied.
That is a Jeremy Foley move. I can remember having conversations with Jeremy, and Jeremy's like, "Oh, I've always got a name in my pool," right? And he's like, "I'm ready. If one of my head coaches decides to leave, I've got a list of people." And he didn't show me the list, but he showed me the drawer. So he was always ready. So that whoever's at New Mexico State said, "Hey, you're out of here. I'm taking care of business." So
what? That's an interesting and a funny anecdote, but honestly, there's a lesson in that, right? Like, as college coaches, and as a head coach, like, you better have your number 2 and number 3 plan somewhere in your brain or written down, or because I mean, the way the culture is now, coaching move again. The reason I defend the transfer portal is because coaches move as freely as we do. So if you're a manager, which is what all head coaches are, you better have your number 2, your number 3 ready to go, because it's happening. Like, this is how it is.
Lamar and I have had this conversation on more than one occasion. Why are you sitting here in the stadium when you have nobody competing? I'm just paying attention. because you never know when I'm gonna need to talk to one of these folks that are getting it done. And you cannot, like George Williams always says, you can't know the play if you're not in the huddle, right? Got to pay attention to what's going on. And you cannot be a manager, as you call it, Clyde, if you're not paying attention. It's just impossible. Like the job of a head coach is never done. Never done. What's the old saying, Lamar? The watchdog never sleeps, right?
Those are facts. And we might want to remind people that there's a sprint job open in the Pac-12 in the Bay Area.
Yeah, there is. There is.
Just saying.
There is.
And that's a pretty good job too, by the way. Very, very prestigious job.
Listen, and I'll say this on the show. I've said it in interviews since my transition. My time at Cal was great. Robin Johnson is a phenomenal person to work for. And there's a hell of a recruiting class sitting there waiting on whoever lands that seat. I'll tell you that. So I'm very intrigued to see who ends up in that chair, because listen, you better be in Eugene, Oregon. That's all I know.
Yeah, and I think that is a big part of the reason why that Robin's taking the time to fill that job, because that there are some very special young people waiting to be coached, and they need to be coached well, because they are very, very talented. They are.
Absolutely.
I'd be remiss because we did miss one, and Agnes' husband, Andy Eggers, actually took the head coaching job at Wisconsin River Falls. So let's be fair to the couple and announce them both. So that is one that we can't not miss, or can't miss, I'm sorry. But yeah, so as the world spins, here we go. There are jobs open. Got to keep looking, got to keep asking, got to keep emailing. Just, you got to find your kingmaker. So moving on.
I'm not chewing the subliminal petty. I can't deal with it.
That was the pettiest thing you've ever done on this show, to me anyway. Shots fired. And you see how I tried to act like I didn't hear that, but then you two started laughing, and I'm like, okay,
I couldn't. I'm sorry.
Okay. I knew I was going to get for that.
Oh God!
Great job, big league. I owe you one for that.
Well played, Chew. Well played.
That was a
very well played. Yeah, pat yourself on the back for that.
I know my shoulders weren't so tight. I got a little bump in the gym today. So, last but not least, is what everybody's been waiting to hear out of our mouths. Is our take, our notes from the Prefontaine meet this past weekend. A lot of things happened, a lot of notable things on the track, off the track, or resulting from the track results. So let's take a dive into that, because there's a lot that we can talk about, and there are things that we are going to be certain to talk about. So let's go ahead and start with the men's shot put. What happened there?
Carousel?
I mean, dude walked in with a mullet and said, let's throw some stuff, right?
Yeah, so I am, as my man Lamar is, totally against this nonsense of the last throw, the three people. But if there's anybody in the world that can handle that with no problem, it's Ryan Carousel, right? So Carousel gets in the ring, is like, okay, so you threw 70 feet. I am going to do an 80% effort and throw 73 and take your money and go home, right? I'm done. And the guy's just on a mission. I was able to watch him in Tokyo a little bit, and he's an ultimate professional. He's so serious about his craft, and like the rest of the world just doesn't have a chance right now. Like there's just none. I mean, like I feel bad for my man Kovacs. Kovacs is trying so hard to get to that level. It's taking him out of his game. Joe has always been Mr. Precision, right? But because he's trying to find a way to get to Carousel, it's taking him out of his game. He's never fouled that many throws in his life, So big, as they say down in Jamrock, big ups to my man Carousel.
On the Carousel thing, I think we all, just categorically hate the final three.
Yes.
Nonsense. As you said, Carousel is, total professional, came out there with the mullet doing his thing, right? In my heart, his final throw was Krauser being petty. Like, just, he's like, you know what? I'm not going, you know, I'm tired, but you're not gonna take my money on some final throw nonsense. So here's this casual toss just to make sure we all understand I'm walking out of here in the first position. But if we as a sport do not stomp out that ridiculous idea, like if Krauser would have somehow lost that competition on the final throw, my head might have exploded. Like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. But, you know, props to Krauser, just, you know, doing what he's done all year. He opened the season doing, you know, world record throws, and he's ending the season. Like, there's been no one in our sport from start to finish this year more utterly dominant than Ryan Krauser.
Absolutely. Lamar, you want to jump in here, buddy?
If he doesn't win the World Athletics Athlete of the Year, it'll be another crime.
And now that one can be, that's interesting. We're gonna have to do that on the next show, I think.
I'm here for it, because at the end of the day, if you don't lose and you break the world record indoors and out, I'm confused how you Athlete of the Year.
I'm not saying I disagree, but
so we're definitely going to
men
save
and
that
women will
debate
be
for
an
another
interesting
time.
debate.
For another time with better internet, we're going to save that conversation.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to the track for a second then. The women's steeple. Holy sheesh. Like, I mean, not just a world leading mark, but, you know, we're just going to go ahead and take a national mark and go ahead and throw that one out the window in the second place finish as well. You know?
Yeah, like in breaking the American record, breaking 9 minutes. And then a lot of people, it went unnoticed, right? It just kind of flew under the radar because how good the first place finisher was. And I just think that, you know, it's Prefontaine meet, it's Oregon, it's the Cathedral. That, hey, let's also give props to my man Clyde, because they called it the Cathedral in the opening.
I need my checks.
They called it that in the opening.
I need my checks.
NBC's opening, the man called it the Cathedral. So let's get Clyde his checks. But at the end of the day, what a phenomenal performance. I mean, like, for both the first, I mean, the whole field was good, but those two young ladies were phenomenal. They really were. I mean, you never discount when this is the best American ever. She broke the 9 minute barrier, which a lot of people have been trying to get after. And as we've seen in the past, usually what this means is the floodgates open now, right? The rest of the ladies go, hey, we can do that too. So be interesting to see what happens.
And that was it for me. So, you know, when you grow up in this sport as a kid or as a young, ignorant, casual fan, right, you gravitate to the things that you like to do or that you did yourself. So for me, it's sprints and hurdles, right? I didn't get a real appreciation for world-class distance running until very recently in my life, maybe like the last 10 years. What the American women, what women in general have done with the steeplechase is phenomenal. But what the American women specifically have been doing and have been chasing is just fun to watch. Like, the 9 minute thing a couple years ago, people were like, nope, can't do it. Like, you just can't do it. And then it was, oh, well, the Africans can do it, but we can't do that stuff, right? So I agree with you. Now that it's done, now that you know, that glass ceiling has been punched through, you're gonna see an influx of really talented people who believe that they can take this event a lot further, because let's be real, when it comes to the women, it's still really new. Like, they're just getting into a place where it's starting to get really, really interesting and really fun.
Kind of like the pole vault was 10 years ago, right?
Exactly. So, you know, Jenny Simpson and Emma Coburn and all these people that have, you know, moved that along to finally see an American woman under 9 minutes, amazing. And right now, that's still a very exclusive club overall for the world. I think it's 5? Is it 5 women have only broke?
I think so, yeah. Yeah,
So,
5%. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's international steeplechase is beautiful to watch. It's still atrocious to watch at the lower levels, but international levels, it's amazing. So keep grinding it out.
Oh my goodness. Now if you don't go watch your steeple races in your regular Saturday meets, please go at least see it at your conference meet. And it'll at least be more appeasing. So
I mean, let's be real. At high school meets, when the steeple's going on, you're watching to see who's gonna face plant into the water. Like that's what everybody's watching.
you know what? So I'm gonna get on my soapbox real quick. What I can't stand right now is the kids who are deliberately face planting.
Oh, yes.
And that's why
happening.
our sport is not taken seriously. And that's the mockery. And the ponds, the puddles, and the cross-country courses, when they're belly flopping, I'm like, you are not helping. And then all these Instagram accounts and Twitter accounts are retweeting and making it go viral. Like, you can't argue that track and field isn't professional. You're not helping it. So anyways, I'm off my soapbox. But yes, I mean,
That does happen. You're
do
right.
I chuckle? Yes.
Right.
But when it's because your spike slips, not because you've intentionally fallen. Anyways, let me
Did
stop
Lamar
that.
see the steeplechase? Lamar, did you see the steeple? Maybe not.
I know. So let's go to a little bit.
If you're trying to talk, you're muted, sir.
Oh, Jesus. Now it's just self.
All
All right, go ahead, Big.
right. So let's shorten the distance that's being run. And let's talk about Queen Mo, the women's 800-meter race.
Hey, you said it. Queen Mo.
Queen Mo.
I mean, it doesn't even matter that she's 19. Like, you can't call her the princess. You can't the up and coming. She's it.
It's rare. It's rare to be able to witness a true phenom in real time. Like we joke and like she is the unicorn.
Yes.
Okay. And be happy that she's 19 and just hope that she stays healthy, because that woman, like, it's her and then everybody else. And what she did to that world-class group of women, let's not get it twisted. Those are world-class athletes back there just being destroyed by
Beat
this
him almost 3
nice
seconds,
girl
right?
woman.
155.0 to 157.7.
Destroyed. And they were never in it.
No.
They were never in it.
Well, they were before the gun went off. And then after that, it was done.
Right, but I mean, you know, it's a one-off, right? The Diamond Leagues are one-offs. So, you know, you get Kaylin Whitney out there to pace the thing. And obviously it was set to be fast. And everybody else is like, yeah, nah, we're not.
I'm of the belief that if Kaylin and Miss Mo hold back just a little bit the first 200,
oh, sure,
we see 154. She got to look, because that's not how she does things. She was a little bit too excited the first 200.
Yeah.
But for me, what you're seeing here, folks, is it's phenomenal. Any word like that you can think of. And my hope is that they let her stay where she is, because we know that system. And the system that she's in, the second year is usually a lot better than the first one. Right? So let's leave her where she is. Let's leave her and her coach alone. Let's watch this, because if you haven't yet, book your tickets for Eugene next year, because she's going to do something phenomenal at the World Championships next year. Phenomenal.
The women's 800-meter world record. Okay. Google it. Look at the pictures.
Oh my goodness.
Get back at it. Okay. That's one of the records that I'm like, look, either you take it off the books or we just act like something else is real, because that's not a legitimate world record. Right. It will be, because that girl can do it. Mm-hmm. She can absolutely do it.
Let's call her what she is, either a woman or a young woman, because she is far from a little girl. I mean, her enthusiasm for the sport is very childlike. And by that, I mean, she doesn't put this immense amount of pressure on herself. She believes she's the best. She believes that she can do anything she needs to get done. Her confidence far advanced for her years. Obviously she's in our conference, so I saw her a lot. I was able to see her in Tokyo. She's over there. The other time, she's in Tokyo without her coach. Over there by herself. And she never missed a beat.
And since we're specifically talking about Miss Mo right now, I want to say this, and I really, really mean it. She should be the example. You want a poster girl for American track and field, it should be her, or you could argue it could be Sydney, but it's either of those two. Like, she is like everything it's like LeBron James in his infamy. He gets all the accolades and he actually is better than advertised, but somehow off the track, it's also just perfection. A thing Mo belongs on billboards, a thing Mo belongs on magazines, a thing Mo belongs on ESPN. If we're going to promote the youth of our sport, look no further than that person. That's the person that we should be promoting.
Lamar, I see that you unmuted.
Can you guys?
There you go.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
For now.
124.
124 for 600.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, 124 for 600.
124 for 600. So I need everybody to pay attention. She's gonna break the world record.
Yes.
Because if you can run, if she
Man, life is tough.
I think what Lamar's trying to say is if she can run 124, she's going to learn how to finish it. I know her coach, Milton Mallard, well. I know his mentor, Pat Henry, well. And trust me, they are on a mission to prove that work can be done clean. I'll say what Clyde was trying to be nice and not say. And she's going to prove that you can run that fast and be clean while you're doing it. So,
yeah. I mean, so just to kind of reference the the results that you all were talking about earlier, she finished at 55.04. The race behind her was decided from second to sixth within a second, just about a second. So 57.6, 57.71, 58.01, 58.3, 58.78. And then
she won by 1.7 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just massively disrespectful.
No, I'm sorry, 2.7. Get my public math skills again. 2.7.
2.54. But yes, like it's unreal. And it's, the great thing about it is there were 3 Americans in top 4. So
yes,
again,
the event is good, period. She's just superior. Like, the event is really good. Remember the Tokyo Olympic silver medalist was another 19-year-old.
Yeah, from Great Britain, yeah.
So crazy. The last, not last, I take that back. Next to that, the men's 200 meter race.
Hey.
I'm gonna leave it there.
Hey, Noah showed the world who he is. I've known Noah since he was a baby. And I know Noah's a very competitive human. I know that him and his coach had some very intense conversations after his, just mental lapse in the semifinal, where he went from first to third in like the last, half a meter. And that probably, in my opinion, cost him a chance at the goal. Don't want to disrespect DeGrasse because DeGrasse ran a wonderful time, but if Noah's outside in his customary lane 7 or 6, that gets a little interesting. It does. So, but wonderful job by Noah. Kudos to him and Lance for getting it together and showing the world who he really is.
I mean, I'm glad you went in that direction, because the Tokyo issue to me was just a simple difference of, I'm going to say professionalism. Andre DeGrasse has been in the game longer. He's more seasoned mentally, and he did exactly what he needed to do every single round to secure his bag. Noah, who's, I'm sorry, is clearly a better 200-meter runner, did something silly, which young people do, and put himself in a bad spot for the final. Noah's been the best 200-meter runner on the planet for a little while now. And if anybody doubted that, I mean, listen, you got to do it. You got to do it on the biggest stage. You got to do it when it matters most, right? So he got third. DeGrasse got the gold, and props to Andre DeGrasse. He deserved it. He earned it. He executed. But he can't go 19.5. He's not that guy right now.
He hasn't shown us that he can't anymore.
Right. Maybe he gets there, but right now, there's a significant gap.
There's one guy on the planet that runs 19.5.
Right. And so, Noah did it a few weeks late, but he left no doubt. And the funny thing about our sport is when you don't execute on the biggest stage the way you're capable of, you open the door to a lot of doubt. So it was, go watch the tape of Prefontaine. The conversation was, oh, well, what about this guy? Oh, well, what about this guy? Oh, what about this guy? And Noah's like, yeah, nah, we're just going to shut all that down now. It was not close. It just wasn't. And you know what? Props to his brother Josephus for the PR. Ran very well in the race. I like to see Rye Benjamin stepping outside of his box and doing other stuff for fun. That he looked good. He just can't go 19.5. Right. So
that was the thing. Rye ran 2016 and nobody knew because he got beat by 19.5, right? So 0.6 later, right? So
yeah, considering these are post-Olympic marks, that's crazy.
Well, I said this on last week's show, like, don't put so much credence into that, because we've seen a lot of special things happen after the Olympics when people continue to run. Like I said, I remember watching Wallace Freeman ran 19.6 after Worlds, Jets 10.6, Marion ran some fast times. There's been a lot of fast performances, big throws, big jumps after the Olympics if they manage the post-Olympic stuff well. And obviously the group that was in Oregon has been managing it very well. So
and to that point, to there's a special element to this year that just is unlike any other thing. The Olympics, there was no one in the stands, and Prefontaine was the closest thing that these people have seen to a crowd in 2 years.
Yes, and it was a big crowd too.
It was a big crowd, and when they go back to Europe, for those who are, the crowds will look like normal crowds. So we might keep seeing stuff. The Diamond League final is upon us.
Yes.
So let's talk about it. I'm sure everybody's been waiting to see if we'd actually do it. So here you go. We're gonna just go ahead and take it out in my hand here. The women's 100-meter race.
Lamar, go.
NBC needs to be slapped.
Further back, sir.
Okay, that's all he's got.
The people who won.
All right. So what I know he said in the rest of that, he got NBC needs to be slapped off his chest. He's making reference to and let's, because we're gonna do the thing that everybody else should have done. Okay. We're going to start this conversation by honoring the thing that should have been honored, which is 10:54. Okay? 10:54. Elaine Thompson, as far as I'm concerned, just destroyed the world record, which she co-owned with FloJo at 10:61. Now, I know Lamar is frozen with his hand on his face, and that's cool. I am not making an insinuation of PEDs like I was stating about the women's 800. This is a simple matter of wind gauges. There's nothing legitimate about the 1049, and Elaine Thompson just separated herself from FloJo because FloJo's best wind legal mark is 1061. 10:54 will be the world record in my brain until Elaine decides to go do something else with it, maybe in her next race. But she left no doubt. And the difference between this race and the Olympic race, other than the crowd, was that Shelly actually had a Shelly-esque start this time.
Mm-hmm.
Shelly jumped out. Shelly looked like she was coming for redemption. And then Elaine was like, yeah, nah, I'm just going to high step up out of here. And rolled. Obviously, the time dictates that it's the best 100 meters I've ever seen, but it was the best executed race I've seen. Like, it was great. And the fact that NBC didn't pay it the proper respect on live television that they should have is definitely to be criticized. Now, let me say, apparently, Lewis Johnson did interview Elaine on the track. But because of the tightness of the broadcast, they didn't find time to get it back on the air, which is some nonsense. That's not a good excuse. You have to get that interview, if nothing else, on TV. And the fact that Kambuji won the 200 and you didn't get that one on either. Like, there's a lot of things to be criticized, but Elaine Thompson is the story of the women's 100-meter dash at Prefontaine. And 10 years from now, 20 years from now, that's all you're going to remember about that race is Elaine Thompson, not anything else. Because in our sport, the hype doesn't matter.
Okay, so I'm not even going to add anything more because Elaine was Elaine. There's a lot of collegiate coaches, myself included, that will pay close attention to a young man that runs 10:54. I'm gonna leave that right there. Okay.
Not anymore.
Exactly. No. Hey, trust me. Guy runs 10:54. I'm paying attention. That's my contrary to popular belief. That's my kind of guy.
I know.
But I want to give props to one Miss Tiana Daniels.
Yes.
I mean, come on, folks. Let's pay attention. This young lady has, there's always been this talk about her battle with her weight, right? And there's always been this talk about if she only could do this or that. She's the only American to make the final of the last two majors, right? She's been the U.S. champion. And most importantly, she continues to show up when it counts the most. She stuck down in lane one, which was bothersome for me because you were, was she fifth at the Olympic Games? And you're in lane one? And there are people in the middle of the track that weren't in the final. But knowing her, and more importantly, knowing her coach, her guy, Edric L'Oreal, that was fuel to the fire for them. And 10.83 seconds later, she crossed the line. And watching her reaction with her mom, the excitement of the moment for her, that's what track and field is about. And when you're paying attention, that young lady's a problem, folks. She's getting a little bit better each year. A little bit better each year. She's getting her confidence a little bit more each year. So I want to give props to Tiana Daniels and her coach, Edric L'Oreal, for a phenomenal race. I mean, the other two Jamaicans did phenomenal, just like they did before. I think Javion Oliver ran well again.
She did.
A lot of great performances in the 100-meter field. And props to everybody. Big props.
Lamar?
I just want to say that Sha'Carri's interview was worse.
No. We ain't on that yet.
Well, we are. Apparently, we are now.
It was worse. It was worse than the race.
Well, okay, but before we go there, I want to echo the sentiments of Mr. Lucious as it pertains to Ms. Daniels. People, it's really, really hard to be the person who always shows up and runs your best in the biggest moments. That is a rare trait in any sport. To perform your best at the hardest time is not something that everybody has. And Miss Daniels doesn't get nearly the amount of respect that she deserves. Right now, all the evidence gathered, if you're gonna put your money on the future of our 100-meter dash for the women, you be smart to put it on Miss Daniels over the field right now, because there are things that she could continue to improve on. But every time she steps up against big time races, she runs her best. And 1083 ain't slow. It looks slow against 1054, but that's the best we've ever seen on planet Earth. Okay? That girl, man, this time next year, probably a 10-7. And now I'm just saying, Miss Daniels deserves a lot more respect than what she's getting, and has been deserving of it.
Yes.
And now, Mr. Lucious.
Well, no, I'm gonna let you.
Oh, I meant to say Lamar. I really did. Go ahead, sir. We can go there now.
I mean, I feel about Tiana Daniels at this point the same way as I do about Andre DeGrasse. You know, like, she's not necessarily going to win a medal every time, but she's going to make the final. You can count on that. And in the final, she's going to run up something at or near her PB. And, I mean, as you said, that's rare. And it's a problem for those who are going to race her. You know, she's a stock I would definitely buy. Going into 2022 and 3 and 4 and 5. 5,
maybe 7, right?
Right.
See, you know, anybody that knows me knows that's my mindset. That we always want to be at our absolute best when it counts the most. And that's what I love about her. And again, because, you know, she's a Florida high school girl, because, you know, I'm close to Eddie, because I'm close to her previous collegiate coach, Tanja Buford Bailey, I was able to watch this. And whenever she's at the championships, she's not afraid. She has this look of, I'm going to get this done today on her face. You know, it's not that look of, I don't know if I belong here. But let's go back to when she won USA's back in 2019. Who called that?
Nobody.
Edric called it. He told me the week before.
Okay. Yeah.
He told me, to quote him, she was swatting flies at the NCAA meet. He goes, we're not going to swat flies. We're going to win this race. And she won.
And you know what? That timeline is apropos for the larger discussion that we're obviously going to finish with here tonight. Everybody gets lost in the shuffle and they don't remember history. In the NCAA final, when the record was set by Miss Richardson at 10:75, oh wait, Miss Daniels was in that race. She took her L, and a couple weeks later took the U.S. championship, while Miss Richardson finished last in that race. Okay? There's a mentality difference there. You can argue Miss Richardson may be more physically gifted, but Miss Daniels is proving to be more equipped to handle the pressures of pro track and field and racing in elite circumstances. And listen, it matters. It all matters. We all seen the pan that they do before every race. To your point, Ty Nance didn't look scared at all. She looked pissed. She looked like, I'm in lane 1. This is some BS, and I'm gonna go do something about it. Fake bravado is not there. So, you know.
You brought up a good one, though. My favorite part of the pre-race pan across was the ridiculously smug look of all 3 Jamaicans.
Oh, yes. Sir.
It was like
Sir.
They knew a secret. Like, literally, if you want to do yourself a favor, go back on Peacock and watch the pre-race pan across and look at all 3 Jamaicans. They all have this smug look, like they knew a secret that we didn't know, and then they showed us exactly what they knew, like 22 meters into the race.
I'm glad your Wi-Fi has returned right on time, sir. Because I'm gonna give you because I'm a nerd, I'm gonna give you the background to why it was so smug. go back on Peacock and find the press conference. The press conference where you have the 3 medalists from the Olympics on the dais getting ready to take their questions. And then in the middle of all of it, after it, whatever, they bring in Miss Richardson on her own, walking through, sunglasses, stunner shades on, doing the most, saying what she says, doing what she does. And they sat there on the dais like, okay. And you're absolutely right. On that line, it was so obvious. They were there to choose violence. And it wasn't going down any other way.
That's the best way to put that. They were there to choose violence.
And listen, I'm gonna say this because, you know, anybody who pays attention to my thoughts and feelings about track and field, again, I don't root for the Jamaicans, right? I've never been Team Shelly. But Shelly Ann Fraser-Price stole my heart at Prefontaine, because if she's been nothing else, she's always been extremely classy.
But she jumped on her petty wagon this weekend.
But she put on her petty crown this weekend.
Oh my God, yes.
The best thing you can do is find the internet clip of the Richardson interview where it loops and just keeps looping, and watch how Shelly, because it's loud, right? They all can hear what she's saying, and she just casually goes by. It's the pettiest, most hilarious moment I've seen from a gold medalist. It was brilliant.
I try my best not to feel sorry for people, right? 3 meters into the race, I felt bad for Sha'Carri because I realized what was going through her head before the gun went off. And then here's the problem. I got to get out with the best starter in the history of starters. And somehow I got to run with the best female sprinter probably to ever walk this planet. And somewhere in there, I've told the world I'm going to beat these 2 people. You know, and like what my mother used to always say when I was a kid, like, you don't know whether to shit or go blind. That's where she was.
What?
It's one of them old people expressions.
See, his Wi-Fi is back right at the right time. We get all the pearls that we weren't supposed to get earlier.
Look, I don't look. Every one of us has been in a situation where you watch somebody get high load.
Yes,
she got high load.
And listen, here's the thing. I've heard so much nonsense since the fallout of this race. People, it's sports. I don't care what the sport is. I don't care about your gender, sexual orientation, where you come from. I don't care about none of that. Where I grew up in sports, if your mouth writes a check that you can't cash, you're gonna catch hell for that.
How does LSU do it?
Period.
Right?
In the story,
ain't that how LSU does it right there?
Something like that. You gonna catch hell for it. And all of these defenders, oh, she's 21. Okay. Area Knighton's 17. He ain't out there showing his tail. Noah Lyles came straight out of high school. He ain't out there showing his tail. Okay. You can't put that kind of energy out into the world and then not show up when you have to show up. Emmanuel Acho said it brilliantly on Twitter. You can't call for attention and then hang up.
Oh, hold on, time out. Hold on.
Hey,
I want you to repeat that, please.
Emmanuel, the two bars that I have seen in the world. Emmanuel Acho said, you can't call for attention and hang up. Yes. And Dalton Foster, a parent of a very talented young man in Texas, said her mentality is not worthy of her talent.
Mm.
Wait, hold on. This how they do. This how they do in the black church. Woo.
Yeah. And listen, and then I'm gonna be done with my little soapbox because I know Lucious has a lot to say here. The one thing that honestly irritates me the most about all of this is this whole black issue on this thing. People. She carries a black woman. So was everybody else on that starting
I was like, so was everybody else in that race.
So everybody else is on the starting line. Okay. And typically, with some, you know, exceptions in the history of the world, the fastest women on the planet are all black women. Okay. So I don't want to hear because she so happens to be black, we are supposed to ride with all things that she does and defend them at all costs. That is nonsense. That is utter nonsense. Listen, as an athlete, some may say as a coach, I'm a talker. I've been known to poke the bear. I've been known to predict national championships a year in advance. All that's cool. I'm not criticizing people for talking smack. I'm not criticizing people for cussing on TV. I cuss. You will never hear me criticize somebody for saying the word shit. That was the second word I ever said in my life. Second word ever out of my mouth was shit. But in my past, when I have run my mouth, I back it up.
Oh my God.
And therefore, I'm cool. You can't run your mouth this way.
Wow.
And have the Twitter finger and finish dead last. I'm throwing it to Lucious here because I have a serious question that I'd really like him to answer because he's my resident track historian.
Okay, so.
No, I got a question. I want to ask you the question.
Okay, all right.
Can you think of any other medalists in the sprints, male or female, that have finished last in an international race that they didn't get hurt in? Because she's now done it twice. I don't know.
Well, so people are going to point to the 2019 Prefontaine meet where Shelly Ann did finish last.
Well, that would be
but it was a very lackluster effort by Shelly Ann. I watched her warm up, which was not an effort, and it was clearly she was just there as well. What your boy used to say? I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Just here so I don't get fined.
Marshawn.
Yeah.
The Marshawn.
Yeah, so my answer to that is no, I have not, other than that one very suspect incident. So what I want to say is this, and one, I want to say welcome to the hype machine, because if you go back 2 or 3 years, it was the Matt Bowling hype machine, which they stopped putting quarters in that, right? So now we're putting our quarters in here. So let me make a small attempt to help everybody understand why the majority of the Black community loves Sha'Carri, because Sha'Carri reminds somebody of their mother, their aunt, their grandmother, their sister, their cousin, their boyfriend, their brother's girlfriend. There's somebody in the community that she emulates, that they connect with because of her actions, because of her dress, because of the way she walks, the way she talks. You know, it's a very Black thing. So they connect with that. So they're defending that. It's okay to be, let's just call it what it is. It's a ghetto mentality. A lot of people would call it ratchet. Now, I'm not calling Sha'Carri ratchet, people, but that attitude is something that Black folks are connecting with right now, okay? The bottom line is this, is that Sha'Carri isn't the whole problem here. A lot of people outside of Sha'Carri are the problem because they continue to make excuses for her, right? As my man Clyde said here, nobody was critical of her for talking shit. But in this society, in the world that we live in, we want to talk about being in that, I'm gonna say it again, ghetto mentality. I grew up in the ghetto. And as my man said, if you write a check that your behind can't cash, then you take the butt whipping you get, and then you take their criticism afterwards. And you don't stand up before the world and talk crap about what you've done in the past, because it doesn't matter. Okay, I get it. You're the 6th fastest woman to ever run this event. And that's a wonderful thing. But that meant nothing on that day. that gives you no credence as you move forward. We keep using the word potential with Sha'Carri, and I'm gonna give this, because I got this from my man Conway Hill. Potential simply means you haven't done it yet. So we can keep talking about her potential. We can keep talking about what she could or couldn't do. And, if you weren't ready, so I wanted everybody to stand up before the race happened and say, she's been off for 30 days. I'm not sure she's ready, because all these people that are defending her now were the same ones that are on the internet. Oh, she's going to beat everybody. She's going to challenge the world record. But now all of a sudden, when she doesn't, we're defending her. Oh, she's young. She's 21. She wasn't ready. Then she shouldn't have been out there saying that she was. Shame on whoever made the commercial and then decided to play it throughout the freaking show.
Oh, the commercial.
Okay? I mean, shame on you. Here's a 21-year-old young lady who has not shown you already she can't handle this pressure. So let's put more pressure on her. So my problem isn't totally with Sha'Carri here. It's with the people that are promoting this nonsense. And all of you out there who want to be mad at me, that's fun, because you're wrong. You shouldn't be defending her. I'm not telling you that we need to be bashing Sha'Carri, because that needs to stop also. Okay? She's a 21-year-old. She ran her mouth. The check was written and it bounced phenomenally well. Okay? Let's move on from it. But let's stop making excuses for her. Okay? So there was people that were after my man Clyde, saying that he was bashing her. She's a Black female. You need to support her. The whole field was Black, right? The whole field was Black. But let's talk about some other people in the sport, African-American females. I think Mo, Muhammad, Sid the Kid, Tiana Daniels, Skinny Kenny, Brittany Reese, Allison Felix. Now, I can do this all day. So how about we support them? And none of them are running their mouths. Okay, the Allison suffered the exact same fate that Sha'Carri did, but nobody's talking about it because Allison wasn't running her mouth. Allison is one of the classiest humans I've ever met. She shows up every day, she does her job, and she goes home. So I think we all have a tremendous respect for Sha'Carri's talent. And as I said, the potential of her talent, but back to Conway, just means you haven't done it yet, okay? But now it's time for Sha'Carri to start having some respect for her talent, and then now doing something to nurture said talent. Because boasting about the fact that you ran 1074 at the Mount Sac meet means nothing in the big scheme of things. Because until you become a medalist on a big stage in this sport, you're just somebody that's never gotten it done when it matters the most. And I'm off my soapbox.
I'm glad that you brought up the commercial, because listen, I said this long before the Prefontaine meet, and people wasn't feeling it. I think a few have come over to my side. Sha'Carri's professional career to this moment, she's a WWE superstar. Okay? It's all hype. It's all bravado. It's with no substance. It's a great show. It's entertaining as hell. And for the population of our sport that say, get eyes on the TV by all means necessary, I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm cool on that. Like, I can do without the casual fans that don't know what the hell they're talking about. Call me a purist, call me whatever you want. The commercial was so bad because of the outcome of the race. But see, here's the thing, and here's the sinister part, and this is the part where I actually feel bad for the girl. They shot the commercial, and had she won the race, it would have been a cool commercial, right? But she didn't. Nike wins regardless, because it wasn't nothing but Nike athletes crossing the line. So Nike is eating off the promotion of the WWE superstar Sha'Carri, and they're eating off the medals of their athletes who can actually deliver. So they're eating all over the place. They don't care. They're good no matter what. In the promotion side of it, maybe all Sha'Carri cares about is getting her checks and getting her money. Because let's be clear, she winning that game. She got her 2 million followers and climbing. the first lady tweeted about you. She's winning the checks. And if so, to get back to Lucious's point about, you know, inner city type mentalities, for a lot of people in our culture, that's all it's about. Get my money, get the bag, secure the bag. Her bag is secured. And if that's all it's about, then cool. Just don't ask me to believe in the hype, because I don't do hype. I don't do hype when it pertains to college football. I don't do hype at all. I'm over the hype. I want to see performances.
Yes.
You know, since I actually seem to have internet all of a sudden,
Don't jinx it.
I think that's the whole issue for me. Is that, like, look, I grew up in one of the most notorious hoods in the country, and at the end of the day, right, like, it is really about, like, you are who you can defend, right? Like, if you run your mouth, everybody's good with it.
As long as you can back it up.
Right? As long as you can back it up. And if you can't, like, you need to be good with it and just take that L. And look, you don't get to decide when the L ends either, right? When you run your
Unfortunately.
when you send the tweets say, y'all miss me yet?
No, not at all.
And see, this is the line that got the whole situation just blown up. I've been waiting.
Yes.
I've been patiently waiting
Yes.
to show that I am not a one-hit wonder.
Yes.
That I'm not just a headline.
Exactly. You cannot then come back and say, oh, she's a baby. Oh, she was sitting for 30 days. Well, guess what? She opened her mouth and said, I've been waiting to show y'all, excuse my language, that I'm the shit.
The end of the commercial said, if you looking for me, I'll be at the finish line waiting.
Yeah.
Oh, you was waiting. Oh, you was waiting.
Somehow I missed that line.
That's the last line of the commercial.
That's how I was so over the rest of it. I didn't get that far.
So where I'm at is like, look, I want everybody to pay attention to me on this one. Like, I am not a Sha'Carri hater or basher or
I love her. I've told you that the whole time. I love the child.
I think she is a very special talent. But what I want her to do is what every great one has ever done. Take these L's, go home, get mad, train harder, and come back and punch people in the face.
Because she can.
Because she can.
Because she can. Yes.
Because she can. Right? But don't keep announcing that, you know, your own personalized coronation and then, you know, hitting us with the Carl Lewis, like, wait for it. Wait, hold on. I'll make up for it. Y'all got to go back and watch the Carl Lewis sing the national anthem to understand that, but just trust me on that.
You were wrong for that reference, sir.
Now I know choose.
I am not. Look, I want to root for Sha'Carri Richardson.
And I'm going to continue to root for it. But like Clyde said, when you put yourself out there like that, right? When you put yourself out there like that, you have to deal with what comes with it.
You know, Jamie Foxx used to have this like stand up where he did this thing about boxers and how much bravado they have going into the fight, and how the post fight interview with the loser is always spectacular, because going in, both fighters say the same things, right? I'm the best. I got the best jab in the business. He's not ready for me. When it's over, one of those people was right.
See, now you're making me think of a different analogy in the boxing. I'm gonna come back to it, but I know Chu will appreciate this because we are of the same era. Sir Lucious might be a little seasoned for this example.
They're making shots at you.
Lamar, I don't know. I think Lamar might feel this one a little bit. You know, the interview, you know what the interview reminded me of for real? It's like when we was all, you know, playing video games growing up, and somebody get real, the loud one gets real mad that they ain't winning the game and they hit the reset button.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't want to hear like,
hey,
21-0.
I'm not too old to remember that stuff now.
Yeah.
But for your boxing analogy, it's Adrian Broner. That's what it is. It's Adrian Broner. And Adrian Broner is annoying. Like, I'm sorry. it bothers me. Every time Adrian Broner got a fight, we hear 3 weeks of, oh my God, I'm the best fighter ever. And then you end up on the canvas with your head busted. Like, I don't understand.
So here's an old school boxing analogy for you. Mike Tyson. Everybody's got a plan until you get hit in the mouth.
Everybody's got a plan.
And that's ultimately, like, that's for me as a fan of the sport and as a person who wants to see an American win this race.
And she can.
And she can.
She has that kind of talent.
Can.
So everybody hear this. Nobody in these 4 tiles believes that Sha'Carri can't compete. We all believe in her talent, but she's got to get back to work. Stop talking.
And here's the thing.
The baffling thing for me is everybody else in that camp can start. Everybody. And I happen to know that her coach could start because I coached that dude. Okay? That dude's one of the best starters around. So get back to work. Master your craft. Stop.
I mean, seriously, because here's the thing that I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to. Okay, again, watch the video. Shelly Ann is in a point in her career. You know, it's a 2-woman battle for the greatest of all time. You can absolutely make the case that it's still Shelly, but Elaine is coming for that title. She is coming for her head. Some people would argue she already has it. Here's the problem. Shelly may not be around for too much longer, but she damn sure gonna be around next year. Oh, she's coming back to Eugene to repeat this head bust.
On the same track.
On the same track. Elaine's not old. Elaine's not old at all.
No, she's not.
Sharika Jackson is not old.
No.
And there's people coming behind her. Brianna Williams is 21.
20 maybe. Yeah.
20.
I don't know. I think she's 20. Yeah.
So in the realm of the world is catching up, we don't have time to not perfect our crafts and run our mouths. We don't have time. We're gonna get blanked from the podium for years to come if it don't get fixed. And I don't personally want to see another Jamaican sweep of the 100-meter dash. I'm over that too. So please.
Rihanna's 19. Geez, she could have been at the World Junior meet.
There it is.
So think about this. You talk about the world getting better. Jamaica broke the World Junior record without Brianna.
Yeah. On relay.
The relay. Yeah. So at the end of the day, folks, to kind of wrap up this whole thing with Miss Richardson, we are all fans. We are all fans of her talent.
Of her talent.
And for people, my people, our people, everyone we're using terms we're using these days, as my man Clyde likes to say, I'm not going to support you just because you're black. I'm not going to do that. Right is right and wrong is wrong. She wrote a check. Nike made the check a lot more expensive, okay? And it bounced. So as we do back in the hood, get your butt kicked, you go back, you work harder, you figure out a way to win the fight. You're not going to win the fight in Twitter. You're not going to win it on Facebook. You're not going to win it by pulling up something that Shelly and Fraser Price did 2 years ago. Because the difference is Shelly and Fraser Price was 9th in that race at Prefontaine. And two years later, she's the Olympic silver medalist at 1073.
Shelly can jog all the Diamond League race she wants. She has hardware.
Yes.
Lots of it.
Yes.
Lots of it.
Right.
Okay. She can do whatever she wants.
And I think that's the biggest thing. We have to spell people, because I'm not doing it. I have to stop putting her in the same conversation with the all-time greats. Yeah. She ran fast at the NCAA championships, and she ran fast at the Mount Sac Invitational. Okay, she is yet to beat anybody of note that doesn't reside in the United States. That does not make you a great sprinter. It makes you a great talent. It means you have great potential, which means you haven't done it yet.
Man. Yes, we support your talent, young lady. Nurture and cultivate that.
Yep.
Got it. Well, as we wrap up our topics, let's switch lanes. And Sir Lucious, it is your turn, sir. It is your turn. to get in that rapid fire. So hopefully you've cooled off from your Hawaiian beach waves.
Well, see,
No.
here's the problem. I know this is going to be difficult because you were so shaky with my man Clyde last week, so I knew you were coming hard for me this week. Let's just hope we don't get some of those suspect questions I usually get, right, Clyde?
No, I actually made sure I had one. I had one for you. I did have one for you, and I took it away. I told you, we'll take a week off.
Okay, I appreciate that because you get me with those every time I'm on the hot seat.
I don't know why. It's really funny though, because it
I
does
have no clue.
All right, you ready, sir?
Yes, ma'am, I am ready.
All right. So, your favorite place you visited while in Hawaii?
We were on the island. We were on Kona the whole time, and I'm not going to butcher this, but there was this little Asiabo place. Had to have one every day. Outstanding. So yeah, the ones in Gainesville got to step. They got the acai. They got to step up their game.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Did you go to a luau?
Oh, absolutely.
Nice.
It was fun.
And you may not know the answer to this or what this is. Did you see any menahunis? Yeah. Okay. So there's legend that there's these little people, and they're literally called little people because there's miniature people, not dwarfs or anything like that. That they run around the islands and they cause mischief. So
I didn't run into any of those. I'm not in jail, so.
Oh my goodness. Did you bring back any chocolate covered macadamia nuts?
No, I did not. We talked about getting those and never did. So.
Got it. That's like the #1 rule.
Exactly. Yeah, we broke the rule.
Have you found any sand in your suitcase yet?
No, because I didn't spend much time on the sand. So.
What the heck?
I'm not. See, here's the thing. I am outside 99.9% of the time of my life. So I'm not going on vacation to be outside every day. Not a thing.
All right. Your last question, and maybe this is either going to be really hard or really easy. Do you kind of miss practice at all?
Practice.
Playoffs.
Playoffs. I mean, to be honest, I always miss practice because that's the basis, that's the background, that's the foundation of everything that we do. And so vacation, not on vacation, sleeping, eating, no matter what I'm doing, there's always these thoughts running around in my head of how to get people to be better. And so, yeah, I miss practice. I do. Always have and always will.
Love it. Love it. See, and that's why I said practice, not racing, because there's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference. So, awesome. You have survived, sir. See, told you, no suspect questions.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Well, hold on to the suspect question. We still got Lamar and myself to throw a suspect one. I know Lamar got a good suspect one for him.
I want to know what's the most exotic food you've ever eaten.
I don't think I've ever eaten anything exotic.
I know. I wanted you to admit that on camera.
I mean, dude.
A bowl of cereal.
No. Therese got me to try sushi once.
Wait.
For those of you who don't know,
sushi or a California roll?
I was like, shrimp tempura?
No, it was really sushi. It was sushi.
Okay, what did you have?
I don't know.
You don't know. I was gonna say you don't know. It had seaweed, rice, and something in it.
Exactly. So I ate it, and they asked me what I thought, and I said it was all right. But I mean, I'm not going
He
back.
Probably had a cucumber roll.
No, I don't know what. I'll find out what it was and let you know. But it was all right. I mean, and you know what? And I went right back around and got some chicken wings. That's what. That's what I did.
All right. The announcement of the Florida Gators signing class has been out. How would you evaluate, in the history of recruiting classes, where would you rank this particular recruiting job by you and your staff, sir?
Wow, it's got to be it's definitely a top 5, and I would venture to say it's maybe a top 3. I mean, I think probably the best one ever was the Christian Taylor, Jeff Dims, William Wynn, Greyhorn, that class. And then probably the other one that's up in that area was Karan Clement, Mike Morris, and Reggie Witherspoon, that group. And but as far as men and women combined, this is the best one ever. It's not close. And I think that it speaks a lot to a lot of hard work by my staff, myself, everybody involved with the program, and we're really excited about it. It's just going to be interesting. That's why when Biggie asked me about do I miss practice, when you look at that, this absolutely
right.
Wait, I can't
exactly.
wait. So I mean, if it's men and women combined, it's by far, in my opinion, the best one ever. I think probably the one that rivals it would be back when you had Najee Glass and Armand Hall on the men's side, and then you had Kyra Jefferson, Robin Reynolds, and Shayla Sanders and Destiny Gauze on the women's side. So that group was pretty special. But this group, both sides, just pretty nice. So pretty nice.
I know in our offices we're dissecting your tactics right now and kind of seeing how you attacked that one.
What do you mean? I see. So
don't play naive.
Okay. So when you look at the class, right? Clearly, the emphasis was on improving in all areas because we've got people all over the place. I think the big concentration was we tried to go where we didn't have people. We went for a need, and we were fortunate enough to get that need. And I think that's the important thing. Like in my recruiting thoughts is we're always trying to get better. We don't want to sign people just because. We want people that can come in and help us get better right away. And especially on the women's side, like you're not going to win a national championship by just having a bunch of short sprinters or a bunch of hurdlers. It's got to be broad-based. And I think that we have that broad base on the women's side. So.
I mean, but you could win a national championship with Jasmine Moore and Anna Hall, though.
Not just the two of them by themselves.
Oh.
But we do have some pieces around them that help a little bit. So.
Listen, those two are Gladys Knight. So just make sure the Pips show up.
Oh my gosh.
Pips will show.
Oh my gosh.
Terrible.
And I really don't mean to disrespect the rest of the young ladies because, like, truth be told, I said it for effect, but truth be told, that's a pretty substantial group that you got on your campus on both sides. But I think I want to put more shine on the women's side because let's call people out. According to Let's Run, Mouse can only coach the men. And why would you go there? Why would you go there if you were a talented woman? Because you're never going to win a national championship. And
Let's Run, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Instagram.
You can't coach girls at all.
You name it.
And I find that interesting because I hear that comment a lot. But I have coached a female to be in the top 3 of every sprint and hurdle event at the NCAA level. And I do believe the collegiate record resides in games within 200. Somebody had to coach her. She's a female. That's all.
I mean, you know how it is. Like, look, really good has been compared to great. So that's the problem.
Well, as I tell people, I'm going to give you 2 comments on that and then we're going to leave this alone. Okay. The first thing is that I tell people this all the time. I want you to close your eyes and it's hard to do, but imagine that our men's program isn't on this campus and our women's program is pretty daggone good.
No, exactly. That's the issue.
Right.
That's the issue.
And then the other thing I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to attribute this to Steve Harvey. Other people's opinion of me is none of my business. And I'm good. My AD likes me. I know that.
I just want to be there when you eat some real sushi. That's what I want.
Okay, you know what? So because you're my guy, all right. So the next time we're together, I don't be trying to give me a bunch of this mess, but I'll try some real sushi.
Okay.
Don't be bringing me no plate.
Wait. Hold on. I can't let you go out like that, sir. Hold on. You have to qualify that because if you're gonna try Real Sushi with Mr. Lamar. First, I'd like to be around for that, but here's the thing. It's most likely the next time y'all gonna be in the same place as Gainesville, and I don't really think Gainesville is the place for Real Sushi.
I mean,
So,
those are facts.
you know what I mean? So when we're in an appropriate venue for the dish.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, if we're like in Orlando, that could work.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
That could be better. And,
Okay.
I'll even be kind. I'll let you investigate. It's gonna be a hand roll and probably some sort of tuna, be it spicy tuna, yellowtail, something along those.
Can't be spicy.
Yeah, it can't be spicy.
Oh, I forgot. Hey, my bad, Malox, man. It can't be spicy.
Hey, look, my stomach is what it is.
I forgot.
See, you have see, the bad thing is you have witnessed what happens when I eat spicy food.
No, I have. That's why I said I forgot.
Nah, I mean, like the eyes, it's just bad. It's just
That's so funny.
like the first, like he got me these hot wings once. Well, I thought they were hot. And he's sitting there just munching on them, and he's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Dude, my head is about to explode."
Now look
Like
here.
I literally had to get up from the table and leave. And he's laughing at me the whole time.
Let you get us into heartbeat props before we accidentally do the post show on camera.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. Thank you, Clyde.
Oh,
Thank you.
I was just gonna say, let's save this for. It sounds like the convention, and Lamar has just signed himself up for the convention this year. So we'll see.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I know, right? So, as Clyde eloquently alluded to, let's talk about our heartbeat props, giving people recognition while they're here to receive it, giving them their roses, giving them their cookies, as I've heard recently, giving them a cookie while they can eat it. So,
Lamar's got to go first. He's on the roll right now.
Right. You know, look, I'm not gonna lie. My heartbeat props are really pretty simple. And it's probably people are going to make fun of me, but like my heartbeat props go to my three fellow tile mates. Look, the year that you guys have put in and the success and the fruits that you guys are feeding off of right now are tremendous. I mean, Big League's got a new job. Clyde's got a new job. Sir Lucious did a great job as the Olympic coach. So like, look, we're winning, right? I'm just happy to be I'm still happy to be on the show, right? You know, you guys have done real talk. Like, look, sometimes you forget to tell the people closest to you what a great job they're doing. So I just want to take a second to do that. As the executive producer of this show, I'm incredibly proud and protective of this show, but more so of the three other people on the show. And I'm super proud of all three of you because what you guys have done since we started this show is nothing but phenomenal. Nothing but moves forward. And that's awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
I mean, I'll go next. I mean, I've been on fire on this. I'm gonna so. I'm gonna give a heartbeat props to my staff. When I was named the Olympic coach,
I'm sorry. I thought you were gonna say to myself. This is the way you said it. It sounded like when Snoop said, "I want to say thank you to me." I thought you were gonna say, "I want to give heartbeat props to myself." I'm sorry.
So now I'm Snoop. Come on.
It was just funny. The setup is what made it happen. I'm sorry. Please continue. I'm
gonna give my heartbeat props to my staff. Okay. So when I was named the Olympic coach, which seems like eons ago now, there's always been this talk about the post-Olympic letdown, the 5-ring fatigue, the 5-ring burnout, the number of programs that just fell apart or disappeared or took 3 or 4 years to get back to their level once the Olympics were over. And I stood up in a meeting and I was loud and I was clear that was not going to happen in Gainesville, but the only way it wouldn't happen is if they got behind me and stood beside me and made sure it didn't happen. And I think that with the announcement of our recruiting class, you could see that they bought in and we to make sure that it didn't happen. So I want to thank Melanie Welty, Nick Peterson, Adrian Mann, even, Steve Lemke, even though he's retired now, and obviously Eric Worski, who's here now, Chris Selinsky, and cannot leave out my director of ops, Therese LeGros, and her assistant Andrew Schutte for their just incredible job that you guys did in helping us continue to move forward here at the University of Florida in our track and field and cross country programs. Kudos to all of you.
I'll go next. My heartbeat props go out to the compliance officers. I think I do this one right around, I think I did this one last year too. It's that beginning of the year, I hear all the buzz, I'm sitting in the meetings and all that stuff. And I'm like, man, their job is hard right now. Their job is really hard because not only clearing students, but they're dealing with the ruckus of, well, I never got that email. What are you talking about? I never knew what that is. And then on top of that, they're installing and implementing and trying to clearly define as gray as can be, because it's still gray, all the NIL stuff. So bless them right now. Their patience, it seems very thick, but I'm sure it's very thin behind that door that they close from time to time. So thank you for all your hard work, patience, and sometimes unwavering love to all of us staff and athletes, student athletes.
My heartbeat props this week, I actually mentioned this young lady on the show earlier, are going to Sydney McLaughlin. It's been an interesting week for her as far as her social media profile and what she allows the world to see of her. If you've been paying attention to the sport, she pulled a LeBron in her lead up to the Olympics and went social media blackout so she could focus. And focus she obviously has had a hell of a season. World record, Olympic champion, another absolute unicorn phenom that is living up to all of the hype and surpassing it, doing things in the 400 hurdles that a lot of people never even thought were possible. She put out a video of herself that, if you listen to it, was after the Olympic trials, setting the world record, but obviously before the Olympics, where, and at least for me, it was disturbing to watch. She seemed to be in a lot of pain. She seemed to be, kind of questioning what's it all worth, in a sense, right? And as a fan of hers, that was tough. And at the end of her video, ultimately the point was she just wanted a little bit of respect. Sid, I don't know what it is ultimately that you deal with every day that makes you feel like you don't get enough respect, but I assure you, a lot of people in this world have the utmost respect for you, and it's because you've earned it. You've literally done everything the right way. You are a true professional. You are the greatest in the history of the world at what you do, and no one else can say that. And so I get at times with how ugly social media is and how ridiculously ignorant our world is. It can feel like that, but I assure you that people who are paying attention in this world absolutely respect you and have been singing your praises and will continue to do so because you keep doing things the right way. Then today, she announced that she got engaged. So congratulations on your engagement. And, me and your millions of fans around the world will continue to ride with you because you deserve every bit of it.
I just want to jump in there and piggyback off of what Clyde just said. I think people really should quickly embrace and appreciate Sid, because there's an assumptive narrative that people are going to be around forever because they're young. And I'm just telling you this right now. I watched that same video and I was moved in the exact same way. And I'm not predicting this, but I will say this. It would 0% surprise me if Sid rode hard through 2024, won the Olympics, and shut it down. And went to go live her life.
Man, look.
Because
Can you say Ashton Eaton?
I mean, exactly. Like, look, she said it, and she said it tearfully and painfully. She doesn't want the fame, none of it.
That's right.
Right? She just wants a little respect. She wants to run, be great at her sport, and then put it down and let somebody else do it.
And in a world where the majority of people are so thirsty for fame that they haven't earned, this woman doesn't want it.
The majority of people her age could never get off the internet for a month.
Absolutely not. And
no chance.
And so all I'm saying is, look, Sydney McLaughlin and a thing more, you better love every minute of them, and we should do everything we can to promote them in tandem while we are lucky enough to witness what they are, which is true unicorns. It's incredible. Those are the faces of our sport, people. Those two women right there.
Yes. Well, we've done it again. We've closed another show. I'm sure as many rocks and stones and pebbles that we did turn over, we've still left some untouched. I'm sure we would love to hear all of you tell us all about it, whether it's in the comments, in conversations, or on social media. So without further ado, gentlemen, have a great week ahead of you, weekend as well. And I'll see you in about another week. Bye, everyone.
When the lights come on, the road just get to running. When the lights come on, opponents mess the plumbing. Heard you like it warm, hot, knife the butter. Truth hit them hard, knock them off that rebuttal. Tsunami, tidal wave to your puddle. Tough love, punch you in the arms, little brothers. Athletics LLC, there's no others. Track and field's pacing with pill to go further. Hey, Wile E. Coyote, it's road runners. Feels like you know us, you've been with us the whole summer. If not for this quarantine, these four corners wouldn't be here, but we here, so start learning. You gotta earn your stripes, gotta get your scars. Show you how to fight, but show us who you are. You lack experience, but still you wanna talk. And who is actually talking to? Your circle's kinda small. Heads prevail when the backbone's strong. Gotta keep it coming, no, it won't last long. Pass and fail, then sell the sad song. And if you don't check yourself, then that's wrong. Just trying to give you the real that you asked for. So why you keep cutting us off to ask more? We put it in slow-mo, but you fast forward. Athletics LLC, the task force.